Yeah, but you can create. It is possible to create as many info catalogs, characteristic catalogs, or key figure catalogs as you can. Uh, so, I mean, you only group characteristics according to the catalog, right? So, if you have created a sales catalog and you want some characteristics and you want to put them in that catalog, then you can put them. And then if you have created some delivery catalog and then you want to group them according like that, like sales orders and deliveries, and you want separate catalogs for them, so you can create them. And it is possible to create more than one catalog in a uh, info area. So you just have to activate it, and it is activated. So we have created a catalog for the characteristic, and right click on the same info area and create another catalog. So here we are creating so catalog for key figures, and you have to check key figures here, and this is create. Now you have created a key figure catalog, so activate this. So it is activated. Now we have a catalog, info object catalog for characteristics and catalog for key figures. And now you have to we have a customer attribute data here. So flat file, so we can follow this flat file, or we can create a new flat file. So here in this flat file we have phone numbers and customer ID, customer name, and customer location. So here now today we are going to see how to load master data attributes in BW. So we haven't seen 3.5 version. So do you like to see 3.5 version now, or 7.0 version?
3.5 is fine.
Okay, so first of all we will load the master data in with 3.5 version. So by creating update rules and transfer rules, we have to load the data. So this is the flat file. We have some customer IDs and some customers name, and there are phone numbers for them, and there is a customer location. So what we are doing is we are going to make customer ID as a master data info object characteristic, and then we will assign customer name, customer phone number, and customer location as attributes to this master data. So that is the scenario. I can out, right?
What was that?
I mean the Skype one. Here we have to create characteristics. So create, this is the key figure, right? So we have to go to the characteristic catalog, right click on the characteristic catalog, and create info object. Now here I'm going to create so this is the customer identity characteristic, and in this one mandatory ones are data type and length. So you have to give the data type. I'm giving as character string, and length I'm giving as 10.
What's the maximum width for the
60
50?
60 60.
Oh, 60. Okay.
Here you can see up to 60 here. So so you can give up to 60 length. And generally, technically in SAP, the length is up to 60. You can see even for the descriptions here, long descriptions and short descriptions. Short descriptions length is up to 20, medium descriptions length is up to 40, and long descriptions length is up to 60. So you cannot give more than 60. Here I am checking lowercase letters, so in case if we give lowercase as well, it will pass on, or else if we don't check this one and if we give some lower cases there, then it will throw an error. So I am checking a lowercase ones. So here there is the attribute only checkbox. So if you check this one, you cannot create this characteristic as a master data. You can only use it as an attribute to other characteristic. So we don't check this one here, because if we check, it will only be an attribute. So there is a table with master data, so it is checked with master data, and it is checked with text, so it will be there. And there is a hierarchy as well. If we are going to create hierarchies, we have to check this one, and or else we don't check this one. So there is attribute here, all the other attributes after creating the objects, other info objects, as I have shown in this format, CSV format, that we have customer name and phone number and location, which we have to give as attributes to customer ID. So for that purpose, we have to create all those three info objects, and we have to give them as attributes here. So then they will act as attributes to the master data of customer ID. So there is a tab called compounding. Here you give the superior info object here. So for example, if you have a characteristic ID, and there is a characteristic ID for other source system as well. Generally in real time there are more than one source systems. So for that purpose, for example, if characteristic ID for a particular SAP source system is means different than the other source system, then what we will do is we have a zero source system characteristic. We have a characteristic called zero source system. It is a business content characteristic. So to differentiate the characteristic for every source system, we have to give it as a superior info object here, so that it can make uniquely identifiable. That is called compounding. For example, we have more than one characteristic, more than one source systems, and we want to represent customer ID as per source system. That means we want to make it a unique identifier. In order to make it a unique identifier, we have to compound it with some other info object, so that together with that info object, it will give a unique identity. So it will make a primary key along with other characteristic. In that case, in more than one source systems case, what we will do is, for the customer ID, we can give zero source system here and give the source system ID, and that source system ID will be separate for each customer ID. So it will be automatically unique. You will see the same customer ID, but it will be unique for every source system. So like that, not only like that, in sales data as well, there are many objects which we need to make unique. For example, cost center and controlling area. For cost centers, you have tables like in SAP, like COSS and COSP in production planning. So all those COSS and COSP have cost center. So but the cost center is different in COSS than the COSP. There is a V type in functional. If you see it in a functional way, for production planning. So if you keep it 10 the V type, then the cost center will be is same for all the system. If it is more than 10, 40 or like that, then that business, for that business cost center differs. So cost center in the COSS is different than the cost center in the COSP. For example, in such cases, for controlling area you want to make cost center, for cost center you want to make it uniquely identifiable, then you have to use controlling area with the cost center. In that case, that combination of cost center and the controlling area as a superior info object will make a unique identifier. So according to the business you need sometimes uh, compounding for info objects.
Okay.
So here those are the tabs I have explained, and those are all the tabs we have for info objects. The mandatory ones are data type and length. So we are going to activate it. You can check and activate, or you can directly activate, it's your choice. So it is all okay here, and here I am activating it. So these are warnings, yellow ones are warnings and green ones are okay. So warnings doesn't matter unless there is an error. You can here the warning is the lowercase makes selection of characteristics very values difficult. So we are sometimes even though it is some performance point of view, it is less uh, I mean sometimes we have to make choice that we want lowercase letters than the better performance. So we will go for the lowercase letters as somehow, so that we can compromise with a bit of performance.
Okay. But if you have only, I guess in this case, numeric values, you really don't need to select the lowercase, correct?
Yeah, for example, lowercase according to the business in real time, you have to select lowercase only when you have a requirement for that. For example, some businesses keep capital A and small a as a different and different record, and capital A and capital A capital A as a different record. In that case, if you check the lowercase, both capital A and small a and capital A and double cap A, for example, if you check the lowercase, at that case this record and this record will be same. So what will happen in the info cube is it will override these records, and there will only be one record. For example, these two are different records for a business. In that case, we should not check the lowercase.
Okay.
So it is activated now. Here, right, we have customer name, phone number and customer location. Right click and create info object. Now this time customer name, I am giving characteristic string and I am giving length of 20. So we can check the lowercase for the characteristics and activate it. can give this as numc because it is phone number, and we can give it around 12. You don't have to check lowercase here because we have to use numc here. Activate. It is activated. Customer name, phone number and address. We can give characteristic string, and we can give address as 25 length, and we can check lowercase in case we have given us in small letters address, and activate it. So you can see it is very easy, right? Once you start doing it, it will be very easy. So here we have created customer identity, customer name, phone number and address, and what we are going to do is we can double click on customer ID and go to attributes. Here we have to give the attributes. So this is a change button. Here you have to click change, and here you can
for change to include the pencil.
yeah,
Okay.
this is for change, and this is for navigator on and off. For example, I have a navigator here. This area is called navigator, so either I want navigator or not, it's my choice. So I can switch it full screen, or I can switch on the navigator. So in this case I want navigator because I am taking customer name, control C, and here control V, and I'm taking phone number, control C, and we are into the attribute and control V, and you take address, control C, control V. So you enter that, and it takes all the information. So we got all the three info objects in attributes tab of the customer identity. So that is how we assigned attributes. So here in general, you can see this is the customer identity. Go to attributes tab. Here you can see the green box here because attributes are active here, so it shows green box. So we have given attributes, and then you have to activate it. So here we have created that. So now you can go to the info providers. Now actually we can go to the RSA old. So RSA \o, you know this, right? \o for new screen, \o and \n are used for new screens, and \o RSA1 old is used for 3.5 version. So here if you in 7.0 version, if you want to work in older version, then you can type RSA1 old transaction transaction code for so this is RSA1 old, whenever you want to work in the old version, you can type this transaction code. Here we are in RSA 1 old now. Here I can see the info area here. Okay, so here we got our info area here, and you can right click, and you can see here on, if you right click on the info area, you have to go to modeling, and you have to go to info providers, and you right click on the info area. Here you will get these options, either to create info cube or data store object or multi-provider info set, or you can create a characteristic as data target. So you have to click this insert characteristic as data target. So here we have zcust. So we insert the characteristic zcust id, and it will okay, it says it is locked. So when other users are working on the system will be locked. So what you have to do is to either you close the system, or you can go to the SM12. Here you will see the locked items, so you have to you can see there is nothing locked here. So if there are something locked, if you want to release those locks, you have to go to the SM12 and go to list, and if you see some locks here, you have to click that item here, and then you have to unlock that item. So we are going away from that, and now it should not show that. You right click on the BI training and insert characteristic as data target. Okay, continue with that. This time it is okay. So we got customer ID here. So here for customer ID, it is a attribute, and you have to go to info sources for 3.5. you have to go to info sources and create your application components are nothing but any folders like info areas, but here you will only get the data sources and info sources. You create the application component to create info sources and data sources. Here right click on the info sources and create application component, and so continue, give the name of the application component, technical name and description, and continue to create. Here we have created an application component here. Now right click on the application component and create info source. You will only see info source there because we are in info source tab itself. So here there are two options while creating an info source in 3.5 version. Either you can choose the flexible update in any data target, or you can choose direct update of master data. Here now we are creating a master data, so we have to click on direct update of master data and give the info object here. So I have given that customer ID, So the master data is assigned.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
definitely different from 7.0.
yeah.
A little different.
And double click on the customer identity after inserting, because we have inserted a direct update. We will see this, and we have in info source here, that customer ID info source, we have a communication structure which took the structure of the uh, a characteristic, and we have transfer rules.
So where your transfer rules defined? Oh, I
Yeah,
see. I see it.
we have to define transfer rules. So in order to define a transfer rules, we have to give the source system. We haven't seen how to create a flat file source system. I will show you later. For now, I am giving the flat file source system which I have created before. Flat file source system for, so data source assignment. Here it will automatically ask for the data source assignment, because in 7.0 we will create 7.0 data source. We don't create info source. Here we are creating info source, and we have got an option either to get assign data source automatically. So here the system given the option, yes, we have to click S here to create a data source for attributes. Yes, and for text, it wants to create the data source for text as well. You are you familiar with the attributes, text and hierarchies?
Yes.
Okay, so we can discuss in detail later. So for
Okay.
text as well, you have to create, yes. We haven't checked the hierarchies. So if we would have checked the hierarchies there, we would have got the hierarchies data source also here. So here we got the master data attributes here. So we have assigned the data source and we have assigned the source system, and now we have to activate the info source.
Okay. So the transfer rule is just simply defining your source system and your data source, and that's it.
Yeah,
There's nothing else. Okay.
it will transfer the data source. Actually, if you have already have a data source, if you give the data source there, and it will transfer the structure of the data source to the info source.
Okay.
And the transfer rules are the rules between data source and the info source.
Okay.
I mean, they give the connection between data source and the info source.
So can you go, since we're creating this in 3.5,
Yeah.
would I have to migrate this over if I want to use this in 7.0, or or does it automatically transfer the data?
Data will be available. You can see you will be able to work on 3.5 in 7.0 as well, and you will able to see the transfer rules and update rules in 7.0 as well. And so there won't be any problem. Data is available, everything is fine. And if you want to migrate it, there is a procedure. We can migrate the data flow to 7.0, 3.5 data flow to 7.0. I will show you later. Now the transfer rules are activated. Now we go back. Here we got that customer identity here, and we got a flat file here. Now you have to right click on this to create a info package, so that we can get the data of a flat file into the BW system.
Okay.
So there you can see master data attributes is available, text is available, two data sources are available. You have to click attributes and you have to give the description of the info package. So save it, and now we have two file types for the flat files. There is a ASCII file or there is a CSV files. So now we are loading the .csv files, so we have to check the .csv file here. CSV means comma separated, so it has to be data separator should be comma, and escape sign could be anything, but so number of header rows should be 1, because we will normally have a header row there. For example, for this we have names as a header row, so that should be ignored. Here you have to browse the file name. File should be closed when you create so you have to browse the, here you can see the button there, you can click on that and browse the file name. We want to load the customer attribute data, so you have to browse the file and open it. So it took the path, and in info package there are 5 tabs. One is data selection, external data, processing, update and schedule. Here data selection is where if you have the selected there is a check mark. If you have given the check mark, that info object will be available here for the data selection. So you can give from value and to value to extract data. For example, if you have given customer ID 0001 to 15, it will only take 15 records, not the 30 records. So external data we have seen, we want to give the name of the file and the type of the file. For that purpose external data is there. So processing, first we have to define which processing we want to use. There are 3 types of processing, PSA, and then in the info object package by package, which is the default, PSA and info object in parallel, and only PSA. So we have to select one here. So we go with the default here. Here you can either initialize the delta process or full update. There are 2 types of updates, full update and initialize delta process. Full, when you keep the full update, the system will load all the data available in the flat file or in the SAP system. If you check the initialize delta process, for example, if you want to keep the delta, then you have to check the initialize delta process and run the info package once. For example, you have in SAP source system you have a data, and you took all the data once as a full update. I mean, you have to load whole data available first for historical data. For that purpose, you have to keep initialize delta with the data transfer. So what it will do is it will act as a full update. It will take everything all records available in SAP system, and it will transfer to BW, and then the info package will run as a delta. There won't be initialized delta, it will become delta from next loading. Delta process means the newly created records, the postings after the initialization. First, the data, whole data is up to this year is loaded, up to May is loaded. After that, if you want to load for next month ending, then in that case you have business will be posting data whole June, and then at the end of the June you have to load the data. So only the records which are posted in June will be available for the delta process. All whole historical data won't be available. So in that case you have to run first initialize delta and then delta. Schedule is where we have to schedule. There is a start data load immediately, which we can create directly by start, or you can schedule it in background for later by creating this by clicking this option. So for some reason it is not available here in 3.5 version, so you will get scheduling options here. By selecting the option you can schedule the data. We will see that in 7.0 version. So here you have to click start to get the data, and the message will be displayed here at the bottom. So data was requested. Now you have to click this TV symbol here to monitor. Now you can see here 30 records are updated. So there it is successfully completed. So now here you can see here there are refresh and all these options, and there is a header, status and details. You can see the header has all the details about the data load, data flow. You can see there is which info source is there, and what are the transfer rules and source system info package. All the details are there in header, and there is a status which will show you the status of the data loading, and there are details which will show you all the details of the data loading. You can see the data loading details here. You will see all the details here. So there is one data package with 30 records which is loaded, and there is nothing else to load, so processing ended. So that is details. So you will have these three tabs here in case of tracking. You have to, if you have got any error, you have to see a step-by-step analysis. Now here you okay, give me a minute please. So you can see here 30 records are successfully loaded. This is the PSA maintenance. This symbol here is the PSA. Once you click this, you will go to the PSA, and there are 30 records. You click 30 records, and it is clicked here. So you click this. You got all the records here. So there are 30 records, and everything is loaded correctly. This is for the customer ID, this is for the customer phone number, and this is the customer address.
When you click
Yeah.
There was three IDOCs, a new transform rule. What are those just different processes?
Yeah, there is the process. The I mean, step by step process. It has shown the in details. I mean, data is scheduled. Data is then processing is there, and there is one IDOC which contains data of 30 records, etc. All the processing is ended like that. There are four steps. So
Oh,
here,
it's four steps.
yeah,
Okay.
here we go to the info provider. You can see manage. Mm. So you have to go to contents there and execute. You will see the data here, 30 records.
Okay.
So once the data is loaded to the characteristic, it is available in the characteristic. This is called master data loading. So there is a rule, thumb rule, you have to load master data before transaction data. So if you don't load if you load transaction data before and then master data, the master data will be empty.
Okay. Does that only apply for 3.5 or for 7.0 also?
For everything, for BW, the master data should be loaded first before transaction data.